All right. So we've got Matt Walsh here. He's talking about the current situation going on in Dearborn, Michigan. So let's get going.
Muslims don't hate Christians? What in the world are you babbling about? They're killing Christians across the world right now as we speak. For all the time that we spend on the latest political developments in the nation's biggest population centers, for example, the election of a Muslim socialist in New York City or the attacks on immigration officers in Los Angeles, it's undeniable that some of the biggest and most important stories are happening in much smaller cities and towns across the country. It's in the smaller locales that we're seeing some of the real...
Oh, why'd you bring that one up, Josh? The stuff in Nigeria, like, I have seen the reporting on that. That is, like, nightmare fuel. Okay. Let's focus on this one. Yeah, no,
That's why.
Yeah, I get it. I think TTS didn't like the K word there. All right.
Flashpoints emerging. Even though no corporate media outlet would dare talk about them, what we are now seeing are very disturbing images that could soon define our national politics as large-scale demographic replacement begins to take hold. And whatever you make of the disasters unfolding in places like New York and California, the decline of smaller cities is even more disturbing. So consider Dearborn, Michigan, population just north of 100,000. If you were ranking American cities by population, Dearborn wouldn't even crack the top 300. But the population that Dearborn does have is highly significant. Dearborn currently has a larger portion of Muslims than any other city in the U.S. And it recently became the first Arab majority city in the country. Fully 55% of Dearborn's residents say they have Middle Eastern or North African ancestry, which explains why Dearborn boasts the largest mosque in the entire continent of North America.
Okay, I'm going to give a little bit of credit. I actually kind of like the architecture, not going to lie. I got to be honest. I think it looks nice. The landscaping is good. It's well taken care of. I am looking for silver linings, aren't I? I don't like bad news.
Yeah, architecture looks nice. Reminds me of Aladdin.
Oh, yeah. This is about to get real dark. I already know it.
Now, Dearborn, as I've said so often on the show, is in every way an Islamic capital at this point. It is not an American city at all, except geographically. Dearborn has been conquered, and the few remaining Americans in Dearborn are now finding themselves surrounded by mobs of Muslims chanting Allah Akbar and telling them to leave the city. So this is footage that was taken by Nick Shirley, one of the few journalists who's willing to travel to Dearborn and report honestly about what he sees there. The footage shows Shirley attempting to interview an activist named Jake Lang, who was one of the pardoned January 6th defendants. But the interview doesn't go anywhere because at this point, Dearborn basically resembles Fallujah. Watch.
I believe they're going to cancel the 6:30 City Hall meeting because everybody's chimping the out. They're chimping the out. I don't have bananas.
Wow. Just trying to get a street interview and okay. Yeah, I don't like this at all. Kind of reminds me of Portland.
Military-age Muslim boys.
Gotta be a little nicer than that. Oof.
Chill out. I don't have bananas. This is not America. This is an insurgency. They are taking over our country. They're taking over our country. They want us all dead.
Wow. They're like pulling his hair and stuff. What in the world?
This is Dearborn, Michigan right now.
Yes, this is Dearborn, Michigan. Any racist is not welcome. No racists here.
Now, that is a video that should be playing on repeat on every American news station. The president should have responded to this by now. It is footage that 25 years ago, everybody would have assumed came from Iraq or Afghanistan. So to be clear about what you just saw, if you're an American citizen and the mob of Muslims that controls Dearborn believes that you're racist, then you're not welcome in the city any longer. Your constitutional rights to freedom of expression are suspended. You'll be surrounded and hounded by mobs shouting Allah Akbar. And indeed, that is the official position of the government of Dearborn. It was just a few weeks ago, you may remember that the mayor of Dearborn, Abdullah Hamoud, publicly berated a Christian pastor, telling him he's not welcome in the city because of his views. This is the same mayor who, as we talked about yesterday, said he disavows the concept of assimilation. So this tactic of driving out Americans who disagree with the Islamization of the city extends not just to the mob, but to government officials in the city as well. So that's what makes this, among other things, a constitutional crisis. In an American city, no one, not even an alleged racist, quote unquote, should be surrounded, intimidated, and forced to leave for their speech. That's not something that should ever happen under any circumstance. It doesn't matter if he starts talking about bananas. It doesn't matter if he insults Muhammad. It doesn't matter if he burns a Quran. I don't agree.
Yeah, I think the Supreme Court upheld that flag burning is free speech. And so that same logic extends to books, I think, as well. I don't agree that you should do that, but yeah, wow.
I think he burned a Quran and slapped one with bacon, too.
That's, wow. Good grief. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad. But it is technically constitutionally defended, so I think it falls into the same category as like flag burning, which is something I disagree with heavily.
Rude? Sure.
Yeah.
Illegal? No.
Definitely rude. Definitely rude.
Agree with that. I wouldn't do it myself. But this is America. In this country, unlike the Muslim world, we have the freedom of speech, freedom of association. The Quran is not a sacred text that we protect by law. Muhammad is not a prophet whose name we revere in this country. This is America. But places like Dearborn don't look much like America anymore or act like it. Jake Lang, while holding a sign reading Americans Against Islamification, was also punched in the face on camera in Dearborn by someone who quickly ran away very courageously. Watch.
I really don't like this. So the idea that you can just assault someone and get away with it, like, really? Come on. If they say, like, them's fighting words or something like that, it's...
Courageously ran away.
Courageously ran away. Just like, oh, leave. Yeah, no, it's bad. It's bad there. It's, good grief, good grief. Oh. That's a sucker punch. What a loser. Ran through oncoming traffic just to... Good grief. Yeah, no, this is like Portland behavior.
That wimp just running away.
Yeah, he just...
Took it like a champ.
Must not have had any real power behind it, but my goodness.
He's like already running away while the punch is still in the air being thrown. He's already somehow running away. Now, as long as we're still prosecuting hate crimes in this country, why hasn't the federal government opened an investigation into that attack? That's a hate crime. He's protesting against Islamification, which is his right as an American citizen. I don't care how you feel about it. You don't have to like him or agree with his tactics. It can make you feel upset. It can make your tummy hurt that he's got a sign that says, we're against Islamification. Doesn't matter. Deal with it. He is well within his constitutional rights as an American. Well within them. He's expressing a view about a particular religion that he believes conflicts with his own beliefs.
Well, it's not like he's attacking anyone either, right? Like, he's not physically assaulting anybody or anything like that. Is it?
He also was dragging a cross while marching.
Yeah. Hands were kind of full.
His hands were kind of full.
Yep. And so what is the crime here? Like, what warrants him getting punched? Like, was he attacking someone? Was he squaring up? No. So then why are you allowed to hit him? Like, it, I think what bothers me more is the police thing, which I think he covers later, where the cop just refuses to do anything about it. That one angered me.
And for doing that, he was violently attacked in the middle of the street. It's the hate crime. So where's the DOJ that prosecuted Douglas Mackey for making a meme? Why aren't they all over this? Douglas Mackey was charged with violating Americans' right to vote by making a meme about Hillary Clinton somehow. Meanwhile, we have a clear attack on somebody engaging in First Amendment protected speech. And so far, it hasn't been a word about it from the DOJ. And by the way, this wasn't the only time that Lang was attacked in Dearborn, and others were attacked as well. The independent journalist Cam Higbee was pepper sprayed and assaulted after he attempted to defend a Christian protester in Dearborn. Watch.
Why is he not welcome on a public sidewalk?
Get the camera out of my face.
Look at his hat. Why are... Oh my goodness. It's like, so in America, we advocate more for other countries now, I guess. Okay. Brief.
Get that camera out of my face or I'll take it from you, okay?
That is assault.
Yeah, that sucks.
That's assault. This guy just assaulted him. Yep. Yeah, it does suck.
Phone right here. Is this his phone? All right, guys. He just got pepper sprayed for attacking and assaulting someone.
Nope, they're lying.
Get your phone. Actually, you get it. Here you go. There we go. Yep.
What an absolute... Oh my goodness.
I got it. Flush this.
Good grief. Assault a journalist like that? Seriously?
We got a bunch of...
Yeah, that's bad. Like, hang on. That is an actual crime, though, right? He was just reporting, and they pepper sprayed him, and the police did nothing about it. That kind of tells me that they expect the police to do nothing about it, because if they had any fear of getting caught, they wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have done it. Why would you allow that?
Yep, that's straight up illegal.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, that's bad.
Now, when Cam reported this assault,
Well, with Democrat police, that's just what happens.
I don't even know if it's like party only. I think it's like the police that are sympathizing with them. I think it could go down to the individual level. Oh well, we'll find out.
to a police officer in Dearborn, the officer refused to investigate it. He claimed that he couldn't leave his post or take a report. But just a few minutes later, Higbee saw the officer leave his post to take a personal phone call. Watch.
My main issue here is that you said I could go into the station later and file a report. He's in black bloc. You're never going to find him again.
Yep.
You will never find him again. The detective will not find him. I promise you. I've been in this situation before.
Oh my
You're never
goodness.
going to find him. He's masked head to toe. You will never find him again.
Yeah, that's a tactic of these like radical anarchists, right? Is they disguise themselves.
Maybe the policeman is Muslim.
Probably, but it's like the unholy alliance of Antifa and other radicals on top of that. So it's like Antifa, what they do is they put on these masks and like just as much black as they can put on. And the idea is they hide in the crowd to sort of avoid accountability. It's a way to get around being held responsible for your actions. It's very common tactic, unfortunately, and it's effective if the police don't act immediately. And most police don't want to act immediately because they end up risking their neck to get one guy, and so they get away with crimes. It's kind of an exploitation, I think, of the bystander effect here. So
Yeah, that is work. It's lazy. So you know that a crime happened, and you're gonna let it slide because why? Then go arrest him. Okay, find me somebody who can. Okay, yeah, find the police report after he's gone, and you'll never find him again. This is lazy police work. You are a lazy police officer. Or you just don't want to get him. Oh, I thought he couldn't leave his post. He's gone. He's not even here anymore. He said he couldn't leave his post.
Yeah, when the executive branch is soft on crime and punish police for doing their jobs, they won't want to do anything.
yeah, but that's not really the case for the federal level at this point. But maybe it's the governor level or even the mayor. I think it's the mayor level at this point. They don't want to deal with the mayor punishing people or whatever. But yeah, no, this
Definitely the mayor.
is bad. Like unacceptable behavior being tolerated. We really need to prosecute people who randomly assault journalists like that. One thing to say, don't talk to me. It's another thing to hit them or pepper spray them, you know?
We're going to go right over there. We're going to say hi to him. We're going to get his name and badge number before we leave. Hey, officer! Who couldn't leave his post. Here he is running. Officer! Officer!
What is this guy, like 5'6"? My goodness.
Officer who couldn't leave your post. Can I get name and badge number real quick?
Name and badge number. Yes, please. Throw it up to
Officer.
Internal Affairs.
You said you couldn't leave your post a second ago. That was a lie. Can I get your name and badge number before I leave? Name? Okay, thank you. You can leave your post to take a personal phone call, but not to make an arrest, apparently.
Wow.
So he says that it's a lazy police work. I think he's being too kind to the officer. This
Yeah.
is not laziness. It's just that most likely this officer agrees with the crime that took place. I mean,
Yeah. No, Matt's not wrong there. That's what it sounds like to me. Why else would you tolerate it? Oof. Oof, that's bad.
That's the only assumption you can make when you've got when an actual crime takes place and you're saying to the police officer, hey, this crime just happened. The guy's right over there. And the officer says, yeah, well, nothing. I can't leave this spot. Sorry.
I'm posted up. Sorry.
The only rational assumption we can make is that, oh, well, you're okay with the crime. You're glad that it happened. And that's why you're not going to investigate it. So this is a systemic top-down assault on the civil liberties of Americans in Dearborn. When Americans are beaten in the street, police look the other way. You know, when Americans assemble outside the city council, they're surrounded and intimidated with chants of Allah Akbar. In America. I have to keep reminding you. This is in America. You'll have mobs surrounding you, chanting Allah Akbar. Now, it really doesn't matter what you think of Jake Lang or Cam Higbee. It doesn't matter if you think they're great people or horrible people. It doesn't matter if you think Cam Higbee is a good journalist or whether Jake Lang is a good activist. It doesn't matter. I've seen some people on social media, including people who are, supposedly conservative, saying that, well, Lang's a fraud. He's just a shock jock doing this for attention. Now,
even if that was true, like he's just doing this for attention, is it wrong that he's reporting on what's happening? Like the motive here doesn't matter. It's the actions that do, right? I don't know. I'm not really that great at reacting to stuff like this because it's like, what do I add that Matt's not already laying out? I can just kind of speculate here and say I don't like it.
Supposed conservative, didn't Elon Musk do something exposing those people?
Yeah, he made it to where you can see where the account was based out of. It's pretty funny, actually. A couple of errors happening because of VPNs, but other than that, it's pretty funny though. Like this whole situation to me is one of those situations where I just kind of let Matt or whoever's actually reporting on it talk about it, because I don't have much more to add other than, yeah, this is really bad. And I'm not sure if it's like a cultural thing or not. I think it's more of a failure to assimilate kind of thing.
I don't know the guy. I don't know much about him. I can't speak to his motives. I have no idea. All I know is that this is a completely unacceptable state of affairs in an American city. And if you're looking at these video clips and to you the headline is, wow, well, that guy is being rude. If that's the thing that jumps out at you, and not that they're chanting Allah Akbar in the street, assaulting Americans, and the police are not investigating because they agree with it, like if that's not if you're more concerned about, well, that was kind of rude, that's not nice for him to be saying that stuff. Well, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, fair.
This is unconstitutional. The DOJ has a civil rights division to protect our civil rights, and they need to move into Dearborn along with the National Guard immediately.
Mm-hmm.
The city council meeting under heavy police guard did eventually take place. At the meeting, Lang offered these remarks, and I'm going to play them at some length. Not because I agree with or endorse everything he says, but because the whole scene is important for you to see and to hear how the audience responds, see how the police responds.
Yeah, I think he goes into the city hall meeting from here, and he talks about all of that stuff. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm not sure if that would work optically, just because
they sent the National Guard to Memphis and Chicago. Why not Dearborn?
I think it's an optics thing. Like, Dearborn's just so much smaller than even Memphis, right? I think he said it was about 100,000 people. I know that they've had like ordinance and stuff like that too, where they got violated by the
Maybe
mosque.
They should send ICE LOL.
I don't know what they could do though. That's the thing. The enforcement of all this is based off of what exactly? Like, how do we even manage this situation? It's an assimilation situation where the mayor says that America's not a melting pot, it is a salad bowl, which is kind of like advocating for balkanization.
Maybe send missionaries?
Send missionary. My goodness. I'm thinking like we need to send maybe
at this point
just enforce the law, because I don't really. The freedom of religion is very important to the U.S. I don't care about that. What I do care about is people breaking laws. Maybe don't let people assault other people. Maybe, just a thought.
I think it should be freedom of Christian religion.
Yeah, well, that's not what the founders wrote. It's more of a case of we need the proper cultural assimilation because they're allowing things and doing things that are actually illegal, mainly allowing the assault on other people, not enforcing laws. That's my issue with it as a whole. I really think we shouldn't allow people to assault other people, and maybe, just maybe, we shouldn't have this balkanized cultural whatever going on. We should really enforce assimilation because we are kind of saying we can have no norms, like no norms, no standards, because if we do that, then it's racist. It's disparate impact mindset of nothing useful at all because we only look at the outcomes, not the reasoning behind things happening. It's really annoying. It's like, imagine if we only analyzed a process based on what was the output and nothing else. We'd miss so many other things. Crazy.
And most of all, you need to understand that lying is what happens when the government decides to replace American citizens with Muslims from the third world. When you displace Americans, when you berate them, when you assault them, when you vilify them, destroy their livelihoods, destroy their communities, destroy their homes, then you get people like this. You get resistance. And at that point, once you've pushed people far enough, you don't get to choose what the resistance looks like. You don't get to tone police it. When you target a specific race for replacement, which is what the left has done across the country, when you engage in open racial warfare, then you cannot pretend to be outraged when you get this kind of response. It's inevitable. Watch.
We have to call it what it is. You guys don't live like we do.
Yeah. It is inevitable. Like, you're going to get tensions building up. You got the pressure cooker going, and then they open the lid all at once and it explodes. So, I mean, for how long have people felt unheard or unable to speak up about their situations that they're unhappy with? And how often have they been told they were racist for saying like certain things? It's really dumb to me. Even if it is racist, we should at least hear what they have to say. And if it actually is racist, we can, dismiss it. Or if it's more of a case of, hey, we're worried about the culture of the situation, take it seriously. We have social norms. If we maintain social norms, we increase trust. If we have a higher trust, we have a better society. It's really, yeah.
It's only racist as Islam is a race, which it isn't.
Yeah, it's one of those other things where you have, like, people who advocate for assimilation and stuff like that, even within the communities presented, because they don't want the third world repeats. So I think it's an assimilation issue more than anything else. I don't know if it's strictly what would you call it? It's not. It's a civic thing. It's not a race thing. I don't know what's going on with the TTS, but it's taking forever. It doesn't. Okay. Assimilation isn't. So Josh says assimilation isn't a race thing either, he thinks. And I tend to agree with that. Oh, TSS. Well, there you go. But yeah, no. So it definitely doesn't feel like. I don't think it's a race thing. I think it's more of a adapting to cultural standards sort of situation. And if you don't, then you're going to cause friction. That friction leads to erosion of trust. Erosion of trust leads to unrest. Unrest leads to violence. Violence is what kind of happens before you get like open war. Yeah, we need to sort of equalize things here. Maybe allow for more normalcy to be returned and actually hear people out whenever they're upset, instead of calling them racist and then saying we'll hold a parade whenever they move out.
We don't want you in our country. We will come and eat your shawarma in Somalia, okay? We don't need it here in Michigan. We don't need it in any part of America. We have a right to self-determination. Our founding fathers fought and died for our posterity, for white Americans, and we're being driven out. You come here and you marry 4 or 5 women and you outbreed us. You change the laws. You make all of our country look like the places that you fled from. We don't want you here. Respectfully, get the out of my country. I don't want you here. We don't want you here.
That's fine.
I don't want you here. I don't want you here.
That's fine, sir. Just
This is our country. And
Okay, he's starting to sound a little bit like a groiper here. I don't like that. I don't like that. I am not a fan of the groipers. I would still listen to them, but I don't like
the
Can you send
people,
the guys out there?
the veterans, the World War II veterans, that's blood has soaked for our constitutional republic, are taking a look around Europe. They're taking a look around America, and they're saying, what the hell did we fight for? We have been taken over without a single shot fired. You guys are outbreeding, insidious parasites on the American way of life. You will never look like us. You will never eat like us. You won't build buildings like us. You are nothing. You can build nothing. Just like President Trump's great American friends have said. You guys are not us, and get the out. America first, America only. God bless America. Jesus is king. Jesus is king.
Thank you.
Jesus is king. Jesus is king.
Thank you.
Jesus is king. Jesus is king.
Time has expired.
Your time has expired.
Order in the chambers. Order in the chambers.
And that concludes our meeting for today.
My goodness. This is a mess. My goodness.
Well, this is what happens. Remember, is at one of these city council meetings, as we mentioned a few weeks ago, that
Big mad.
a pastor got up there, much more polite, very nice about it, very gentle in his approach. Didn't say anything racist. Didn't say anything derogatory at all. And all
Okay,
he said,
hang on. Didn't the pastor basically just say, "Hey, maybe we don't name streets after terrorists"? Like no member. I think it was like a member of Hezbollah or something like that. And he was like, "Yeah, maybe we don't name our streets after people who are associated with a known terrorist organization."
Yeah, it was about not naming a street after a terrorist.
Yeah, I don't see that as unreasonable at all. Like, hey, maybe we don't do that.
He said something like it being bad optics.
Yeah, it kind of is. And then the mayor called him an Islamophobe and kicked him out.
said is like, hey, why are we renaming the streets after these, these Muslim figures that have no significance to American culture? And what was he told by the mayor? He was told, you're not welcome here, get out. That's what the polite, nice people were told. And then, so when you respond that way to the polite, nice people, then you end up with that. That's what comes next. That's always what comes next. Now, if you're listening to the audio podcast, an entire line of police officers had to follow that guy out of the meeting. And as we'll see in a moment, to their credit, some of these officers accompanied him to his car as a mob of Muslims surrounded him outside. But before we get to that, we need to see a little more from this meeting. It was, I think we would probably say it was the most consequential, certainly the most interesting city council meeting in Dearborn's history, probably. Not that I've seen very many of them. So here's Cam Higbee, the journalist who was assaulted, and here's what he had to say.
I asked them simply why they were harassing and touching another individual who had stated repeatedly that he was only on their side of the street to talk to them and have a dialogue. My phone was smashed. You can see the broken camera right there. They stole $50 out of my pocket, and they stole my microphone.
Stole $50 from... Okay, come on. That's just robbery. Like, I don't care if you don't like the guy. You don't get to steal. Yeah, it's just
straight up theft.
Yeah, straight up theft. It's insane. Like, come on. You're enabling actual crime. First you got pepper sprayed and you got $50 stolen from him. Come on. Like, that's... You can't really be on the side of that, can you? Like, not realistically. If you're going to allow that kind of thing, this is why we can't have nice things. Like, that's all I could really add to that. Sorry. I'm more just kind of stun-locked by the situation as a whole. It's really, really bad.
Receiver. I went and I told one of your officers, badge number 3668, that this had happened. He told me there was nothing that could be done about it unless I went to the station. I told him, I can't go to the station. I'm working. I'm doing my job. He said, I'm working too. I said, yeah, and your job is to protect me and all of the people that are out here today. Okay? So we said that I could go into the station later. I told him, you're never going to catch the guy if I go into the station later. He's going to leave. He's dressed head to toe in black bloc. I filmed the whole thing, but he had a mask on his face. You'll never, ever get an opportunity to arrest that person ever again if you don't go and get him right now. He said, sir, I can't leave my post. 5 minutes later, I caught him in the parking lot on a personal phone call. Okay? Repeatedly today, I watched people that are in this room get attacked by other people that are in this room. One of my favorite quotes from the Prophet Muhammad: a woman's testimony is worth half that of a man's due to the deficiency of her mind. God created two sexes, one superior and one inferior. That's why your women wear hijabs, because they're inferior to men. That's why in most Muslim countries they can't leave their homes without permission of a male guardian. Is my time up?
Wow.
You have 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Oh, 30 seconds.
Yeah,
okay, great.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I shouldn't feel like a dhimmi in my country. That's what I feel like in Dearborn, Michigan. It doesn't feel like home. I feel like a dhimmi, a second-class citizen, which is what Christians are in the majority of Muslim countries. Dhimmis. Second-class citizens. And the policing in this city, that's exactly what happens. And I know rank-and-file officers in pretty much every city usually want to take care of these problems. You're the one giving the orders, Mr. Mayor. These guys definitely want to do something about them. They're business. Look at them. These guys are all business. Your orders. I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Now, watching footage like this, and there's a lot more like it, you have to wonder how much longer can the city of Dearborn continue to treat Americans like second-class citizens, as Cam Higbee says. I think that's a pretty fair summary of what happened when you're assaulted and the police tell you to their face that they're not interested in investigating it. I mean, I'd say that's what it means to be a second-class citizen. How much longer can Americans tolerate this takeover of Dearborn, the hometown of Henry Ford and the Ford Motor Company? And what's going to happen when this escalates even further, which it obviously will? Now, make no mistake, the foreigners in Dearborn are not interested in peace at this point. One by one, Muslims stood up at this city council meeting to mock the Americans who complained. Here's one particularly sassy guy who made one of the dumbest arguments I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, I've seen this one.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. I just want to say a few things before I start. First of all, the word Sharia just means law. Saying Sharia law is saying law. So it seems like there's quite a large group of individuals here who are intellectually inept. And if that word is too big for them, intellectually inept, I'll say it again, they can Google it later.
Oh my goodness.
This is one of those gotchas that's extremely hard to watch without cringing.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Why'd you show me that? I don't want to see this guy talk. My goodness.
Dearborn has some scratches to buff out.
Yeah, for real. Why would you do that to me, Matt? Yeah, I don't like listening to people make bad arguments. This is why I don't like watching debates too often. But people who call it Sharia law is like saying law. It's like, yeah, I get that. It's like the same reason people say chai tea. Chai is tea. Tea. But it's really more of an indicator of where it's from, sort of method it's made, all that. It's yeah.
MT Fujisama is saying MT Fuji.
Mount Fuji. Okay, and?
Okay, and?
Yeah, exactly. That's the follow-up is okay, and?
Uncontrollably. He really thinks that this is some kind of devastating checkmate. It's like saying the Sahara Desert is a nonsense term because Sahara means desert in Arabic. It's the kind of statement you'd make if you're a really annoying person who wants to avoid discussing anything meaningful, so you default to some incredibly dumb and annoying linguistic argument that's completely pedantic. I'm not even going to dispute his translation of Sharia, although I don't know, it's probably wrong. Maybe it's not. In this country, we use the term Sharia law as a shorthand for Islamic law, as opposed to actual functioning legal systems, ones that don't call for beheading when you leave the Islamic faith, for example. And this speaker knows that. He just wants to avoid the topic. And as the guy continued to speak, we quickly discover why he doesn't want to talk about substance. Watch.
It is incredible that individuals who were charged with beating cops with bats are allowed to come to this city and say that they are going to take a holy book and burn it. This is not free speech, and this is not.
Was he actually charged with that? I don't know if that actually happened on January 6th. I'm not sure about the specific charges, but that's like slander if he's wrong. If he wasn't charged with that, then he just publicly slandered the dude. Oh yeah.
He was pardoned for whatever he did.
True, he was pardoned. But falsely accusing someone of a crime is grounds for libel and slander. Since it was spoken, it would be slander. Better hope he doesn't find out who that is. I would take him to court.
Hate speech. This is speech that will initiate violence.
Oh yeah, the trespass charge.
And most of them were charged for trespassing.
Yep, they were trespassing. They were held way too long for the crime that they were charged for.
That is correct. This will initiate violence. You are coming to come and burn a book that Muslims hold very dear to their heart.
He's making a provocation argument.
Like I said, Islam is the religion of peace. Muhammad is merciful, he says. And then he says that if you mock Islam, then you're causing violence. You're responsible for the violence that Muslims will inflict on you. I mean, that's what he's saying. You see how that works? They say, well, we're the religion of peace, but if you make fun of us, we'll
fighting words.
So don't be violent by making fun of us, okay? Because you're going to cause us to be violent against you. Now, to be clear, it wasn't just Muslims who encouraged violence against Americans. Several members of Antifa-type groups also spoke.
Yeah.
Watch.
I'm part of the group BAM, by any means necessary.
Actual terrorist. Like, they are basically a terrorist organization. They do things that terrorists do. Let's put it like that. I do not like BAM. I've seen their tactics. I've seen what they do. Like, they actively intimidate people. I don't know if that's
literally classified as domestic terrorist organization.
I don't know if there is an actual classification for that legally, but I can say they use terroristic tactics reasonably.
Trump did classify them.
I think he got 2 of them as foreign terror organizations. It's really, really difficult.
Is why Nux calls Hassan a terrorist now.
Okay. I don't want to risk opening myself to libel yet, because I'm not going to accuse anyone of being a terrorist. I'm going to say that they use terrorist-like tactics. Because, that's an opinion.
Our full name is the Coalition to Defend Affirmative Action, Integration, Immigrant Rights, and Fight for Equality by any means necessary. And we came today to say that fascists are not welcome in Dearborn. Can
she please define a fascist for me? I don't understand what that word means anymore. Genuinely, I don't get it. Like, they've been using it as people I disagree with. Okay. So, anyone that deviates from you, like 1%? Fascism. Yeah, right.
Likes of Hudson and Lang are not welcome in Dearborn. I think that was made extremely clear by the action today. People saw what was happening, and they came out and provided the welcome that such people deserve. And I think this really sets a model to other cities who are facing these same kinds of attacks. By the end of the march that I was on, they went from being maybe, I don't know, around 50 people to like 3 guys with a banner because they had been scared away. And I think that is exactly the kind of action that is needed. And I think
running them out on a rail with intimidation tactics, that's what's needed. Threats of violence, get out of here. Okay, well, there you go. There's the article from the White House. Take your word for it. I'm still going to err on the side of caution for now.
Dearborn really set the model for how to deal with these situations.
Okay.
Executive order.
Okay. Well, that goes for the executive branch then. I don't want to falsely classify anything. Don't want to make a category error.
So this masked activist saying her political opponent should be stopped by any means necessary is openly celebrating the fact that her political opponents were intimidated into silence. So this is an admission of a constitutional violation, which she should be prosecuted for. The fake nonprofit she belongs to, which Andy Ngo has extensively reported on, should be shut down. But of course, that probably won't happen. More than 2 months after the murder of Charlie Kirk, has a single leftist group like this been investigated, much less shut down?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Pretty good place to start. For now, these terrorists are emboldened for obvious reasons. Another masked activist condemned the city council for failing to use law enforcement to shut down the protesters. Watch.
Sorry, I'm standing here today in solidarity with several members of our community that are here and who attended our march to condemn Anthony Hudson, Jake Lang, and their fascist supporters, and also to condemn this council.
Can I skip this, please? I can't. This, actually infuriating.
I sometimes need to think about Charlie Kirk to reignite the flame of anger I have towards these leftists.
I don't even need to think about that. I never liked them. But man, they're insufferable. Why do I have to suffer through their ramblings? I get what they believe, and it's incoherent and stupid. So the fact I have to listen to them talk is just so annoying. Can't stand them.
Those poor, abysmal attempts to protect them. The police outside, they did nothing to really disperse the crowd of fascists. All they did was protect them, and that is wrong.
As a result of these kinds of threatening statements, as well as the actual violence that was on display, Jake Lang and Cam Higbee requested a police escort out of the meeting. They asked the police officer to accompany them to their cars. Unfortunately, the officer agreed. Not that it should have been necessary to ask in the first place. And even with the officers there, a few people tried to harass them anyway. At this rate, it's only a matter of time until the violence escalates.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. And no sane or decent person wants that to happen. Antifa wants that to happen. But the last thing that a sane or decent person wants in America is violence. But the problem is you cannot work to undermine American identity and national sovereignty and scold and castigate and condemn every American who objects and tell them to leave town, especially tell the nice ones to leave town, and then be surprised when the whole situation devolves into chaos. Now, the only solution, the only way to prevent the chaos is to return American cities to Americans, to return America to Americans. It's the only possible solution here. It's the only one that can work. But at the moment, for whatever reason, some prominent figures who claim to be on the right are actually training their fire on the people who are protesting the Muslim takeover of Dearborn rather than the Muslim foreigners themselves. So here's what Jake Shields wrote, for example, in response to a video of one of Lang's protests, quote, "Muslims don't hate Christians, so I'm not sure what the point of this is. Do this in Brooklyn in a mostly Jewish community." So I guess the idea is that in order to dunk...
What? Huh? Help. Don't understand. What? But I've never, like...
Muslims don't hate Christians.
Thank you, French TTS. Screams in Nigerian.
Screams in Nigerian.
Yeah. What? Well, Mom, why would they ask us? Could they say, go do this in a Jewish community? It's like, what? Why? I don't know of any Jewish people that hate Christians. I just don't. Neither here nor there. What a non sequitur that was. My goodness. Good grief. People being allowed to lie to people.
Because he's based in the Middle East, according to X.com, LOL.
Gotcha.
Dunk on the Jewish communities. We're supposed to forget about the fact that Muslims have been killing Christians for 1,400 years. Muslims don't hate Christians? What in the world are you babbling about? They're killing Christians across the world right now as we speak, particularly in Nigeria, as we discussed a few weeks ago. Every year, Muslims are executing thousands of Christians because of their faith. Meanwhile, Islamic countries are also flooding our country with immigrants who hate us and who openly threaten us at city council meetings. But we're supposed to believe that Muslims have no hatred for Christians whatsoever, even though that statement defies over a millennium of human experience? After I challenged Shields publicly, he responded by claiming that Christians have killed far more Muslims than the other way around. Which isn't true. And then he pivoted again to like, well, we need to talk about Jews. That's all he wants to talk about. And as I told him on X, this is just full-on anti-Christian propaganda, something straight from the left-wing Reddit fever swamps. Talking points that are totally indistinguishable from the far left. An effort to distract conservatives from doing what needs to be done, which is taking back our national sovereignty. And we can't fall for it. I mean, there are some people ostensibly on the right for whom, hating Israel is literally the only issue that matters. The only one. They would happily let our country succumb.
It feels like he's talking about Candace Owens here. Like, that's Juden. Yeah, for real. Oh my goodness. Candace with all her conspiracy nonsense going on at this point. It's like, I used to like her, but now she's just kind of pushing these conspiracies like they're actual reality. And it's like, you can't criticize this group. It's like, you're saying everyone in that group is bad, but not. But you can. Like, I don't see anyone's career ending because they criticize. Maybe it doesn't make sense to me.
Candace's issue is that she forgets the claimant needs to provide the proof.
Oh yeah, true. She does just kind of throw something out there and be like, all right, now prove me wrong. And it's like,
She tells people to disprove her conspiracy theories instead of proving them herself.
Right, and then like she has a weird standard of evidence that doesn't really make sense, and then you do disprove her and she gets like, she's like, well, that's just what the conspiracy would want you to think. Alex Jones is more consistent than that, crying out loud. My goodness. But yeah, no, let's keep going.
To a third world invasion, if it meant we would have more people here who don't like Israel. So Israel first from the other direction, as I pointed out many times. When Mary said, let it be done to me according to your word in Luke 138, she said yes to yet. And they see a chance. Preborn network to close. Someone like a chance to live. Preborn.com is long overdue. But there hasn't been one. And therefore this week, the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, decided to take action on his own. He designated CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood as foreign terrorist organizations. Here it is.
Governor Greg Abbott also today labeling two Islamic groups as terrorist and criminal organizations.
And his proclamation bans the groups and those connected to them from acquiring land in Texas. Fox 4 Sean Rabb in our newsroom with the still developing story. Sean.
I'm not sure about the governor powers, but if Greg Abbott can do that, then Greg Abbott can do that. Can't really stop him. I have no idea.
Yeah, very much so. The two groups are the Muslim Brotherhood and CARE, the Council on American Islamic.
Wait, isn't the Muslim Brotherhood like a terrorist organization in Saudi Arabia? And Egypt hates them too, right? Like even in the countries that they supposedly hail from, they aren't wanted there.
Yes, in many countries.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so like
they're very friendly with terrorists.
Yeah, I think Hamas as well is like a big one, right? So I don't. Why aren't they in the U.S. too? Like at some point in Qatar. Okay, wow. So yeah, we should probably just ask, hey, MBS, what do you think of this organization? He's like, yeah, they're terrorists. Like, okay, yep. Can you just give some evidence of that? Great, awesome, thanks. We'll designate them terrorists here too. They're foreign terrorist organizations. My goodness.
Relations. Now, neither are on any State Department or federal terror list. And while only the federal government has the power to designate a foreign terrorist organization, the governor does have the authority to issue a proclamation and apply state penalties if there's a violation. In issuing that proclamation Tuesday, Governor Abbott said that the actions taken by the Muslim Brotherhood and CARE to support terrorism across the globe and subvert our laws through violence, intimidation, and harassment are unacceptable. Today, he said, I designated the Muslim Brotherhood and CARE as foreign terrorist organizations and transnational criminal organizations. These radical extremists are not welcome in our state and are now prohibited from acquiring any real property interest in Texas.
Now, CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood deny these allegations, of course, but the evidence is pretty clear. During a federal prosecution related to terrorism financing nearly 2 decades ago, CARE, which is basically a subsidiary of the Muslim Brotherhood, was named as a co-conspirator in an effort to funnel millions of dollars to Hamas, which the U.S. designates as a terror group. CARE's founders were also in close communication with Hamas.
Okay.
As Abbott wrote in his proclamation, quote, Hassan al-Banna, who founded the Muslim Brotherhood, professed that jihad is an obligation from Allah on every Muslim, and that jihad means fighting unbelievers, plundering their wealth, destroying their places of worship, and smashing their idols. And even in the present day, the Supreme Guide of the Muslim Brotherhood has stated that the organization's primary goal is to establish Islam's mastership of the world and to forcibly impose Sharia law worldwide. The government's proclamation adds, CARE is an Islamist organization that, according to the FBI, was founded as a front group for Hamas, and CARE and its members have repeatedly employed, affiliated with, and supported individuals promoting terrorism, terrorism-related activities.
Okay, wow.
Now, there's also new reporting that CARE allegedly cut $1,000 checks to campus radicals who besieged American universities back in 2023. So they're directly funding anarchy in this country. Going after these two organizations isn't going to stop the kinds of problems we're seeing in places like Dearborn, but it's a start.
Yeah.
And the federal government needs to follow through at this point. There's no other option. There's also some reporting today that as a favor to Qatar, the Trump administration may be holding back. But I don't know if that's true or not. There's no reason to do that.
True.
We elected this administration to target foreign invaders. Well, here you go.
Little man's babbling.
And we need to dismantle their institutions if we're ever going to remove them from power. The Islamification of America is one of the greatest threats we face to our country and to our national identity. It's impossible to be an American first nationalist unless you're taking a stand against this. Remember that Dearborn is the place where protesters chanted, "Death to America."
Oh yeah, why do we tolerate this?
Again, you're not America first if you align with
that.
people who literally chant death to America. I mean, opposing those who want to see the death of our country explicitly is about the lowest possible bar for America first.
Yeah.
We need to protect and preserve our country, and we elected this administration to do exactly that, to represent our country to the exclusion of every other. But we're getting taken advantage of all over the country by people who come here and hate us. It's not just happening in Dearborn. City Journal just published an article on the extent of Somali Muslim fraud in Minnesota, which is far worse than anyone realized. They're not just stealing our money with various welfare schemes, they're also using that money to fund Islamic militants and terrorists. Quote, a source described the close links between the Somali American community in Minnesota and Islamic terror groups abroad. 10 years ago, the source was recruited as an independent contractor for a 3-letter agency investigation into the Minnesota men who had joined or attempted to join ISIS. That year, a Homeland Security Task Force report found that Minnesota led the nation in the number of Americans who had joined or attempted to join ISIS. Of the 58 Americans who had done so, nearly half came from Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't even know if I want to comment on this one.
This is a third rail conversation, but the largest funder of al-Shabaab is the Minnesota taxpayer, the source said.
What? Wait. Our taxes from Minnesota are going towards al-Shabaab? Why? Like, that's like misallocation of funds is one thing, but that might be outright fraud. I'm not sure. I would have to look at the law on that one. That's, oh man, I don't like that at all. Yeah, that's at wow. Yeah, my goodness.
Fraud and terrorist sympathizing.
My goodness, crazy.
IDs say even treason.
Well, I would definitely call for an audit of the public funds at that point, because that's insane.
There's a real issue here that is real, and if there's ever an event that is traceable back to these funds or to people from this area, then the situation will take on a whole new set of optics. There's another recent article by Armin Rosen called "The Shame of Our Cities: How Minneapolis Became the Medicaid Fraud Capital of the USA."
Oh yeah,
it's also worth reading if you're interested in the mechanics of some of these fraudulent schemes. But really, the mechanics don't matter. The people doing this shouldn't be in the country in the first place. The fact that they're stealing from us and funding terrorists is just more reason to put an end to this. Now, these stories at the city council meeting in Dearborn are the clearest possible sign that we're running out of time to rescue America from this foreign invasion. We should never have to witness a scene like that city council meeting ever again within the borders of the U.S. We shouldn't have to wonder if our tax dollars are funding fake anti-American nonprofits, much less terrorists. And we should accept nothing less than the full weight of the federal government coming down on these invaders and returning America to Americans. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full...
Okay, well, that was really heavy, but I mean, I don't feel like there's anything.
Wowzers.
Yeah, I don't feel like there was anything particularly false about any of that. It was more like, oh boy, yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, it is good to know, but man, that's kind of horrifying, that we kind of allow for this sort of thing. I think what bothers me most is that we allow the criminals to just kind of get away with what they're doing. Okay, well, I think I might just play Make a Bunk for the rest of the time. We could do the shoe on head tomorrow. We'll do shoes.
Yeah, the migration of Muslims is getting wild. /
I think maybe the immigration policies need to be changed a lot. Yeah, I'll send you the link to the video. All right, Spanish TTS now. Here, I'll send you a link to the video. And then you can put that in the description. All right, well, I guess anyone else who's watching, thanks. Yeah, get some sleep. All right, I'll catch everyone else later. Goodbye.